Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Portatredis MMA. Today we have episode 8 of Portatredis Picks, and this is a new one. We're going to be diving deep into why Sean O'Malley actually won his fight against Merab through rounds 1, 3, and 5. People love to talk about Merab's pressure and control, but it's time to set the record straight. And honestly, MMA Guru had it spot on with his breakdown. If you guys are going to hate, I don't care. Go for it. Let's go. In this episode, we're going to guide you through each round and we'll analyze why the judging criteria, especially the damage and striking accuracy, proves that O'Malley deserved those rounds. I'll break it down strike by strike, exchange by exchange, as well as the commentary of the MMA Guru's video. And by the end, you'll see why Sean walked away with the win. Let's get into it. Let's start with round 1. Now, I know a lot of people gave Merab credit for pushing forward, pressuring, and attempting takedowns, but that's not how the UFC judges fights anymore. The key criteria for scoring are effective striking and damage, and in that sense, Sean O'Malley was clearly ahead. From the very beginning of the round, Sean established his range beautifully. His footwork allowed him to stay outside of Merab's reach, avoiding those wild, looping shots while tagging Merab clean with crisp punches to the body and head. Right? Around the 11-second mark, I believe, Sean lands a solid body kick. Something that Guru also pointed out in his breakdown, this kick wasn't just a point scorer. It visibly affected Merab, making him much more hesitant to rush in. What's interesting though is that people underestimate how much bodywork Sean put in during this round. While Merab was attempting those inside leg kicks and low kicks, many of them weren't landing clean. In fact, Merab toe punting Sean's knee might not have done more harm to. Merab toe punting Sean's knee might have done more damage to Merab than Sean. Meanwhile, Sean was digging to the body with his lead right hand and landing straight shots to the midsection. You can see Sean mixing it up well. He's keeping Merab guessing. One moment he's attacking the body with a shot, next he's firing straight right to the head. And this is crucial because Merab's defense wasn't strong enough to block all these strikes, and he was often caught flat-footed. There's a particularly important sequence where Sean lands a clean left hand right on the chin, snapping Merab's head back. This is a significant strike. That wins him the round. When you compare it to what Merab was doing, mostly throwing volume, but landing glancing blows, you can see why Sean was ahead in terms of damage. That's how they score fights. Now, of course, Merab did attempt a couple takedowns toward the end of the round, and I'll admit, he got Sean down once, but remember, control time does not win rounds if you're not doing anything with it. Sean immediately worked his way back up, taking a little damage in the process. What people tend to forget, though, is while Merab is controlling, he's not dealing damage. Sean, on the other hand, is constantly landing cleaner shots, and no shots have a visible impact. You can see the frustration on Merab's face as the round progresses. By the end of the round, By the time the round ends, Sean has landed more significant strikes and done more damage. In a round scored on the basis of damage, this is a clear win for Sean O'Malley. Let's move on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving into round number 3. And this is where things get even more interesting. If you thought round 1 was close, round 3 was where Sean really started to pull away. And again, it all comes down to the effectiveness of his striking. Right from the start, Sean's game plan was clear. He wanted to keep Merab at range and force him into bagged exchanges and capitalize on Merab's aggressive counters. And that's exactly what we saw. Sean lands a clean body kick early in the round, similar to round 1, but this time you could see Merab reacting more visibly. His pressure was still there, but it lacked the same energy. Why? Because Sean O'Malley was punishing him for every step forward. The Guru was right when he said that Sean's body shots and straight punches were key. Every time Merab rushed in, he was eating a straight left or right hand to the body, and we're not talking about light touches, these were impactful shots. They were visibly slowing Merab down, and as Guru pointed out, the power dynamic in this fight heavily favored Sean. Let's focus on one of the most important exchanges of this round. Around halfway through, Sean lands a perfectly timed straight right that cracks Merab on the temple. You can see Merab's head snap back as he stumbles ever so slightly. This is the shot that swings rounds. Merab's forward pressure became less effective from this point on because Sean was tagging him clean. And don't forget, we're not talking about punches. We're not just talking about punches. Sean was mixing in solid leg kicks, and even though they weren't the most powerful, they were landing clean. He also continued to damage the body. He also continued to land body kicks, further snapping Merab's energy. The more Merab tried to push forward, the more Sean capitalized on his predictable movement. Towards the end of the round, Sean lands a clean knee to the head as Merab ducks down. This wasn't just a regular knee, this knee opened up a cut on Merab's face. Now, if you're judging this fight based on damage, this moment is massive. That knee did visible damage, and Merab's cut was bleeding as the round came to a close. Let's talk about Merab's grappling attempts. Yes, he tried to close the distance and tie Sean up against the cage, but what did he really achieve? But what did he really achieve with it? Not much. He was landing effective strikes in a clinch, and even when he got Sean down momentarily, he couldn't keep him there. Sean's defensive grappling was on point, and Merab failed to make the most of these positions. When you look at the overall round, it's clear Sean was landing the cleaner and more damaging shots. Even the judges gave this round to O'Malley. He was more effective and more precise, and did the kind of damage that wins fights. Again, that's 2 rounds, and if you give Merab rounds 2 and 4, you got 2-2 going into the 5th. So let's go into the 5th. Now, this is where Sean O'Malley sealed the deal. In round 5, Merab was visibly slowing down, and while he kept pushing forward, it was clear that his aggression wasn't as effective as it had been in the earlier rounds. By this point, Sean had done significant damage, and he continued to outstrike Merab in key moments. Early in the round, Sean lands a beautiful body kick that causes Merab to retreat for a moment. You can tell that the accumulation of body shots was starting to wear Merab down. While he's still pushing forward, his shots are getting more predictable, and Sean is taking advantage of that by countering with clean punches to the head and body. Around the middle part of the round, Sean lands a stinging right hand that rocks Merab again. We see Merab's head snap back, and you can see the frustration on his face. He knows he's being outstruck, but he can't seem to adjust. Sean's control of the distance and his ability to counter Merab's aggression is what really sets him apart this round. Now, let's talk about Merab's attempts to wrestle in round 5. At this point, he's getting desperate. He goes for a couple takedowns, but Sean's takedown defense holds strong. Even when Merab manages to get him down briefly, Sean is right back to his feet, minimizing any control time Merab could have had. Towards the end of the round, Sean lands another clean body kick, followed by a jab that snaps Merab's head back one more time. These are the kind of shots that stick in the judges' minds. They're clean, they're impactful, and they're evidence of effective striking, especially when Merab's own offense is starting to look desperate. By the time the round ends, it's clear that Sean has done more in terms of damage and effectiveness. Merab's pressure and takedown attempts aren't enough to make up for the cleaner, harder shots that Sean landed. This round, like 1 and 3, go to O'Malley. Therefore, O'Malley won 3-2, 48-47. Anyway, man, that's it, folks. Episode 8 of Portatredis Picks, and I've broken down why Sean O'Malley won rounds 1, 3, and 5 against Merab Dvalishvili. As MMA Guru pointed out, it's all about effective striking and damage in today's scoring system, and Sean O'Malley clearly came out on top in those departments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to drop a like, comment your thoughts, love or hate, I don't care, I'll be fine, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, I love breaking these fights down for you. Comment any suggestions, you know what to do. I appreciate all the support. Stay tuned, I'll see you in the next one. Deuces. Well. The next episode of Portatredis Picks, episode 9, will be ranking the pound for pound fighters and seeing, is John Jones really number 1? Stay tuned. See you in the next one. Deuces.